Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very exciting video. In today's video, I'm going to outline the exact steps that I took almost 4 years ago at this point to scale my agency to 10K a month in 30 days rapidly, and the exact steps that my students who have accomplished the same took as well. Now, this is one of those videos where after you finish watching it, you will totally reconsider what is possible for you in your SMMA journey. As always, before we can get started, you can find last video's Gadzhi giveaway winner. As you guys know, in each video, I give away an article of clothing from Gadzhi, my bespoke clothing line. And in today's video, I'm actually going to be giving away a pair of blue light blockers. These are the cobalt blue G1s. These sell for 85 pounds, so I think that's like 110 bucks or something. And as I said, gonna be giving away a pair of these again in today's video. Literally all you have to do to be entered to win is just subscribe, turn on post notifications, comment within the first 2 hours of the video going live, and drop a like. And obviously you can enter into this giveaway as many times as you want because I give away a pair in every single video. As I said, the giveaway winner will be a pinned comment down below. And with no further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, when it comes to my story with scaling that quick, it really comes down to a concept that I always tell my students, which is when it rains, it pours. So the first client that I ever got was actually in August of 2016, and I charged 380 pounds. I remember initially I pitched 300 pounds, decided that was too cheap, and I would also pitch weekly. So I pitched 75 pounds a weekly price. I ended up bumping that up to 95 pounds weekly because I was too scared to do 100 weekly because that sounded a little too intense for me. So anyways, ended up charging 380 pounds a month. And that was the first ever social media marketing client that I got. And after that, I went on a drought for 6-7-ish months and signed no clients, even though I was doing all the things that, in all fairness, these days I tell all my students do not do. Send out proposals, have multiple in-person, just strung out meetings, offer free trials, and the whole sort. So eventually it comes towards the end of February 2017, and I was actually going to Holland to create a video campaign for a client. Now, I didn't consider this a social media marketing client because they weren't paying me on a monthly basis, a retainer to do services for them. This is just a one-off gig, but it was the first time I ever traveled for work per se. And I remember looking out of that airplane window and just being like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like being able to travel for work. Like it was just such a crazy idea to me. And I knew that I wanted to go all out with my agency. So I just committed at that point. Once I made that commitment, I didn't sign my first client straight away. I think it was another 2 or 3 weeks, but by mid-March, I had signed that first client. And then I ended up signing 4 clients in the space of a week. The first client I ever signed was a company called Athlete, now rebranded to GenFlow, and they work with the biggest influencers on earth, basically helping them to create physical products as well as digital products. Sean, the founder, I definitely would consider an early mentor to me. Obviously, with one of them being one of my best clients in 2017 and me having a really good relationship with not only the company, but the founder as well. I learned a lot of things, but that first retainer was 1,900 pounds, which comes out to like $2,500, which to me was, I literally thought I had made it at that point. Well, the next day I ended up signing a personal trainer, and that was 1,500 pounds, equivalent to like 1,900 bucks, I think. Then I signed another client for $1,000, which was actually this cooking show, long story. And then I ended up signing another personal trainer for 750. And that was all in the space of 7 days. So as I said, ladies and gentlemen, when it rains, it pours. And then it was a couple more weeks and ended up signing my next few clients. And that's really the story of how I ended up scaling my monthly retainers from, I don't want to say zero because I did have that football club client, but that was like, what, 500 bucks? And actually, when I got my first client, I ended that relationship just because it was not worth my time at all. I was pretty much doing 10 to 15 hours a week of work for that client, so it just didn't really work out. But anyways, that is basically my story. And this story mirrors the experience of so many of the community inside of Gray Agency. So in today's video, that's why I really want to peel back the curtain and reveal exactly what we did to have such amazing results in such a short span of time. Now, the first thing that myself and my students who have accomplished this result, the first thing that we did was we made our agency our entire life. Now, at the time, I was still in high school, and I'm not recommending this to any of you guys, but like I was a terrible student. Like I was a terrible student. I was horrible in school. Not only did I not really understand things, I was terrible at math. I was terrible at economics. That was one of the classes I took thinking that it would help me in business. Didn't help me one bit. But apart from that, I was also just a very rebellious student. I never liked being told what to do. So in class, I would actually be doing outreach. So while I was in class, I don't know how it worked at your school, but personally in my school, and maybe that's just more of a European thing, but once you get into like your last 2 years of school, 3 years of school, they'll let you have your iPad or your computer in front of you as a note-taking system because, it's just a lot more organized than having pen, paper, etc., etc. So I would always have my computer in front of me and I would be doing outreach in class. At lunches, I would not hang out with people. I would sit alone and I'd be reading business books or doing more outreach. Between school, managing the business, and then also trying to manage my health, go to the gym, meditate, this, that. And at that point, I was also reading a book a week. I was getting around 4 to 5 hours a night sleep. I do not recommend that, by the way.
They want to be a hustler. They want to work hard.
Sleep is not for the weak. Sleep is for intelligent people, and I recommend you get 7.5 to 9 hours every night. Just at that point, I was going on an all-out offensive, and sometimes you have to go through those periods where, you know, certain things just kind of lag behind or get neglected. I said no to absolutely everyone if they want to hang. I didn't know what was going on in current affairs. I didn't care. I didn't care what anyone's opinion was of me. You know, you just get so dialed in, you just get so locked into a target that everything else becomes obsolete. That was the phase that I was in during that scaling period, and that's the phase that you need to get into if you want to achieve similar sort of results. Once you cut everything out, you make a decision and you get to work on it, it lifts such a burden off your shoulders and it makes the rest of the process so much easier. Most people spend so much time on productivity hack and how to focus better. And the reality is a lot of times they just need to cut out more fluff out of their life. And then what's left is focus. So if you're making the decision to scale up your agency rapidly, you need to cut out things like drinking. You need to cut out things like excessive social media usage. You need to cut out things like, you know, coffee catch-ups with friends. I'm not saying you need to do that forever, but if you're serious about scaling your agency in extraordinary time, because let me tell you, scaling your agency from $0 to $10,000 a month, that's not normal, okay? That's not normal. Like, I obviously have a sample size within Grow Your Agency of thousands and thousands of students in our program that helps people to get from 0 to 10K a month. And usually what I see is that if they are consistent with outreach, they'll get their first client within 30 to 90 days. But that doesn't mean that they're going to scale up to $10,000 a month. So you need to understand here that if you are trying to emulate what I did and what some of my students who have done the same have did in terms of scaling that quick in 30 days, then you are going to need to take extraordinary action. It's time to bunker down, go into what I like to call monk mode, and get real focused. It's one thing to put your head down and focus. It is another thing to put your energy in the right place. Because if you try to scale to $10,000 a month in 30 days and you do that by, you know, optimizing your website and building a brand playbook for your agency, you know, it sounds silly when I'm saying it, but that's really like where a lot of beginner agency owners' mind and headspace is at. You need to get this in your head. From 0 to 10K a month, the only thing that drives the business forward is outreach. You're gonna have many clever ways to reframe it or justify why, you know, this activity is actually driving the business forward and this and that, but those are all just excuses. I'm telling you this right now. When you're going on that journey from scaling from 0 to 10K a month, the only thing that drives you forward is outreach. Of course, set up your business domain and set up your business email. And if you're going down the route of hiring a contractor to deliver the services and then adding an extra 100 to 200% markup on your service fee, and of course, spend a little bit of time to find a contractor. But once you've done those things, it is time to get into warrior mode and just focus on outreach. Warrior mode is where you put your head down and you just put in the work. Now, once you get to $10,000 a month, that is where you can clean up some of the systems and processes in your agency, where you can actually take a look at the outreach you're doing and ask yourself, can I get a better yield from the time that I'm putting in, aka the amount of outreach that I'm doing? Can I kind of tweak it a little so I get more meetings? Wizard mode is really where you look at your service delivery, ask yourself, how can I get even better results for our clients and just make it a more positive experience working with our agency? But first, get to $10,000 a month. And as I said, if anything else comes to mind that isn't outreach during that period, it is simply an excuse. Now, the last thing to focus on if you want to scale your agency to $10,000 a month in a relatively short time frame, like 30 to 60 days, is you need to break the proverbial 4-minute mile in your head. You do this by getting inspired and getting your mindset right. Because look, you're not going to be able to work 14+ hour work days. You do need a bit of downtime and a bit of time to recharge. Now, what I'm about to tell you right here, don't take that as, oh, okay, I'll just start my workday by getting inspired and this and that. No, I do not want you to become a self-help junkie here and think that you need to do 2 hours of affirmations and, you know, watch inspiring interviews and this and that before you get started with your work. No, wake up, go through your morning routine. It should not be some 4-hour morning routine or 3-hour morning routine. All right. So wake up, go through your morning routine, get to work and focus on outreach for 80% of your available time in a day. But then when you finish with your workday, as everyone has to do, you take a bit of time to rest and recharge rather than just watching some, crappy television shows or whatever, or watching the news or this or that. Instead, watch inspiring interviews, watch inspiring documentaries on Netflix. For example, The Last Dance. I'll get you so dialed in and so fired up to continue in your warrior path. And really one that I strongly recommend is, I have a couple on the main channel, but most of them are on my extended channel. Watch the weekly student interviews that I do. You are literally going to see dozens and dozens of stories of how people have scaled, some people to $6,000 a month and some people to over $150,000 a month. And as I said, that will shake that proverbial 4-minute mile in your head, and you will get inspired and realize that you are able to accomplish so much more than you would have ever thought. This is so important because the first 2 steps will tactically get you closer to your goal, but at the end of the day, you need to believe that you can do something before you achieve it. Now, one last bonus point is it always helps to have the right guidance and have someone in your corner to help you weather the storm. So right below this video, check out the updated 2021 case study that I did. At the end of that, I don't pitch anything. I don't try to get you to buy anything. All you have to do is watch it, claim your free plug and play, some directly from my paid course. And at the end, if you have any questions or you think that Agency Incubator could help you, book in a call with Christian, my student success manager, and he'll help answer any more questions that you might have. And as I said, just remember, you are capable of so much more than you ever imagined. Look, if you enjoyed that video, I went ahead and picked out another special video that I know you're gonna find immensely valuable. You can find it right there. I know you're gonna love it, and I'll see you in the next one.